If you're looking at this video, you've probably finished the first part of the activity looking at series and parallel circuits. Now you're looking at how to measure voltages across them. We'll do currents together. I'll do those with some kind of a demo at the front of the class to wrap up. But just to get started, we're going to use these voltmeters. This is one type of voltmeter. There's another one, it's a blue one. The idea is you're going to look for the same stuff. I don't know if you can read this, but this is, you're going to set it to what the DC volts or DCV on your meter. You're going to go to the 20 volt range because we're not going to use anything higher than 20 volts. So that's the range that we're going to use. This is what's called a multimeter, meaning it can be used as a voltmeter, it can be used as an ammeter, it can be used as an ohm meter. Yeah, in these ones, other ones can test other different circuit functionality. But we're just going to worry about using it as a voltmeter for today. So one thing that you're going to do is this. You're going to connect. What you want to do is you want to connect. There should be 3 connections on your on the multimeter. One will say milliamps, volts, and ohms. And the other one will say another one will say 10 amps, and then the third one will say common. So the one that you're going to use is the one that has volts and common. So the red lead will go into the one that's marked volts. That's just a V. The black lead will go into the one that's marked common or COM. So that's going to be how you're going to start your wiring for your voltmeter. And then the way you're going to use this, you're going to measure these is like this. I'll try to do this so I can look at 2 things at the same time and not get in the way of the light. So you're going to place one lead on one connector. Let me try it the other way. Place one lead down, then place the other one next to it. Maybe if I do it this way. You would be using one hand, 2 hands. I'm using one because I've got one on the camera, but I don't know if you can see that. So you just press them down, press the leads down on top of the screws, and you should be able to measure what's going on. What I'm going to do for now is a little bit of a cheat. You can use it if you want. It makes your life a little bit easier. Is this what these other 2 leads are for. So if you connect an alligator lead onto one end of the meter, so I'll connect one to the black lead, and where I want to connect it, I can just connect to the point in the circuit that I want to go to. I'll do the same thing with the other lead. I'll just put the voltmeter, connect the positive lead of the voltmeter, and I'll connect that to the other point in the circuit. And there we go. So now I've connected those 2 things. I'll get them off the circuit because I don't want them short. I don't want them to short out. But I take them away from the circuit. And then now what I want to do is this. I'm going to turn on the power supply. So this one here, I'm just going to switch it on and ramp up the voltage. And then, okay, I'm back. So what you want to do is, again, this one here, you have to switch it on before you can start ramping up the voltage. Then I'm going to ramp up the voltage until I get, I'm going to use on this one, this is not a very good power supply. So I'm not going to go up to 9 volts the way you guys are going to go. Yours are much more stable than this one here. I'm going to go to 6 volts because I just don't want to blow the light bulbs. Please don't go beyond 9 volts in your circuits, or you might blow the light bulbs. And please don't test it because I just have to work hard to put these back together again. So that's you're gonna there's a little knob to adjust the voltage. On some of yours, it has a meter that you'll be able to read off of there. Other ones you won't. Either way, you're gonna have a voltmeter. So I'm adjusting the voltage here till I'm gonna go with 6 volts, like I said. But again, you can see the way this sort of jumps around. Don't worry if you don't get it exactly at 6 or 9 volts. You guys are going to go for 9 volts. I'm going to go for 6 today. But if you get it within, a couple of decimal places of the nominal voltage that you're looking for, that's what we're going after. And you're going to set the meter up to read the voltages. And then what you're going to do later on is I'm going to turn on the circuit by flipping the switch. So this little switch here, you close this up to make contact, and then now we're going. Okay, if your voltage drops at all, yours shouldn't. This is not a very good power supply. So I'm going to adjust this voltage back up to the 6 volts. Again, because I don't trust it. So I'm back up to 6 volts, and there's my circuit is on. And we've got the light bulbs are shining. I've got these two things in parallel. If I turn my switch off, the lights go off. If I put my switch back on, the lights go back on. So that would be them in parallel. And then if you wanted to measure the voltage across, say, the voltage across a light bulb, you could do the same, make the same connections. The one I connected across a source to make sure the power source, what the voltage was in the power source. Then I can go check now I've connected across a load. I go back to the meter and I measure what the voltage is on the load. And it should be about the same as the power supply. Then you can do, if you want to do the second load, so I'll come back here. Again, we disconnect the voltmeter. We reconnect it to another load. Again, remember I'll talk about the positive and negative side. You should always put the positive side of the voltmeter, the red lead, closest to the positive side of your source. And then you go back here, and again, you see it's another voltage reading that I can get off of that load. And you're going to do this, and when I ask you to do the measurements, we'll call it the Ohm's law portion of the activity. You're going to be looking at this as well. And then again, if you wanted to put these in series, when you're disconnecting and connecting loads, it's very important to turn the power switch off. So disconnect the power when you're doing loads. The voltmeter is a little bit, you've got a bit more freedom to move it around because it's very low. It's a very low draw on the circuit. As long as you're careful where you place the leads, you should be okay. The loads can be something different because they can spark a little bit as you connect them. So please make sure that you turn the circuit off. Again, I'm going to connect these, go back to connecting these in series again. So I'm going to connect the one load. Oops. I'm going to disconnect it from the parallel connections. And the series ones are marked S1 and S2. You're going to have two light bulbs that we call loads. The loads are what use the energy. The source is what provides the energy. So again, so S1 and S2, I'm going to connect these. Now I can go back to turn the circuit on. And then I'll see the lights again are shining. And you'll see that. And then we can turn the circuit on or off and back on and off and on. Again, please make sure that you, and again, if you look now, I'm not measuring any voltage because I don't have my meter on a load. So I'm going to put it on S2. So connect it to both ends of S2. The meter always goes in parallel. And then we go look at it and we get a voltage there. Anyways, this is what you're going to do tomorrow in your activity.